Good morning, Southern Illinois. You are listening to Isn't It Queer on WDBX FM 91.1, community radio serving the Southern Illinois region. This is Johnny, soon to be joined by Heather, and we are recording this show on a Tuesday afternoon before it goes out on a Wednesday morning. Well, this week we embrace what for some of us is the end of summer, even if the weather doesn't exactly agree, by checking out how things are right now in the country, but really in this particular way. We see that while things seem really rough here, especially for the LGBTQ community, there's lots of evidence that it could be worse, and in fact, there are lots of places around the world where it is. Such that we are still a desirable place to be, in part because of what we've been able to accomplish for diversity and the rights of minorities like LGBTQ people, but also because of the ways that we are pushing back against the attempts to try and limit our rights. And so with that kind of a positive spin, we want to take a look at some of the more recent stories and some of the comparisons we might make between ourselves and other places and see how it is that we might be doing better than we think we are and how we might capitalize on that to even do better. It is a thick show, and I think we should dive right in. Well,
yes.
It might not be as quiet as normally it has been this summer because there are actually people in the hallways again.
Yeah. It's kind of wild. There's some people in the hallways. There's people tidying up the university. They're changing out the satellite dishes.
I know. Isn't that
which
fun?
I was like, you're trying to make them look shiny and new?
No. This building is supposed to be under renovation. I don't know where they are in the contract bidding for that. Maybe that's part of the way it's starting is we're going to change out our satellite dishes. I don't begin to know. But school is getting ready to start here. It used to be that in the summer, it would be active up here because our students were actually on campus in the summer. But for the last half decade, the summer has moved almost entirely to online teaching.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's the legacy of COVID.
Yeah, I think so. And it makes me sad when we come back. Although I will say, for us recording, it's nice to have nobody walking up and down the hallway and that kind of thing. So the soundproofing in this little studio, really an office, it could be better.
Well, of course it could be better. I mean, we're not in that room where you start feeling bad because you can hear your heartbeat.
Right. Oh, creepy. I can't believe because for me, this sort of week, we're in orientation week up here on the campus, so we're meeting all our new grad students and getting them ready to go teach classes and things like that. It's a sign of the end of summer. First of all, the weather does not agree.
No, the weather is trying to kill us all again.
The weather is convinced that it's still summer.
Remember, heat warning till Sunday.
Yeah.
All of you, please take care.
Yeah. I can't believe, I don't know where the summer went. I also know that as we enter into the fall-ish, we're not that many months away from those midterm elections we've been talking about forever. And so, that's on the horizon. We're almost done with primary season. Not quite, but almost.
See, I want to go back to a president who you don't pay attention to.
Yeah.
That
Or midterms are just kind of like, maybe my duty, I'll go and vote.
Where your life, your existence, your neighbor's existence in life isn't constantly in threat. I mean, that would be nice.
I am with you on that. At the same time, there's all these sorts of rumors, especially since Senate just kind of broke for the next month, and they didn't pass that SAVE Act.
Yeah, it's too late for that.
And they went away, and so apparently some folks on the right are very upset about that and are really encouraging our president to consider declaring a state of emergency because then the House and the Senate would have to have a 2/3 majority to overturn it, which is not going to happen, and they could make all kinds of dictates about what you have to do for the elections, especially if it happens really soon now.
I'm not sure how that would play out because things have been really nail-bitey in the House and the Senate, and a lot of people in both the House and Senate are not pleased with the president.
Yeah. I know that the president has recently said that his ratings, the Republicans are not doing so well, but he's doing great. His ratings are fine. And talk about some gaslighting.
Dang. I don't know who's gaslighting him, but really with the price of gas these days?
Yeah. I have to say the one, and look, I'm coming back to this one. I know it's not exactly queer. We'll get to the queer stuff here in a minute. On Sunday, apparently, he finally came out and said there was no video or photographic evidence of vandalism that he and others had proclaimed they absolutely had about those reflecting pools. So remember, a week ago, he was dissing on Pirro for withdrawing the case against the vandals.
Yes, because there was no
There's
case.
no evidence. Yeah, there's no evidence. And then there was a little bit of struggle between her and the Department of the Interior about who was responsible for that. And Trump was given all kinds of information online about like, no, she shouldn't do that. We should prosecute. Why is this happening? And then finally on Sunday, he did admit there was no video, there was no photographic evidence. Now here's why this matters to me. This stuff happens all the time, and we kind of just roll our eyes and go, yeah, that's Trump. Yeah, let it go. And I'm just like, you guys, we can't. Right? We can't. No. We have to like take out our highlighter and mark this. This was an overt lie, not just a lie. It was a lie that targeted and prosecuted somebody for something that actually his administration was responsible for.
Yep, and a former Olympian at that.
Don't like it, and I really just want to say over and over again, like, we don't let these things go away. Obviously, we don't get distracted by things. We pay attention to the main stories that matter, but you don't let that go away. This was not just a lie. This was not just a misrepresentation. This was aggressive. It targeted somebody. It would have been hellacious on them. So much of the Trump administration's fallacious charges and push for penalizing folks and lawsuiting them and all that kind of stuff is really about not winning in court. It's about discouraging folks from speaking up.
Which honestly has been a Trump approach forever. I mean, he makes these absolutely ridiculous lawsuits, and people don't have the money to fight them. So they just drop the thing, and he's like, okay, I won.
Yeah.
He counts it as a win when it's actually just kind of a neutral.
And that's about all he ever gets, because if they do go and anybody supports it, then sometimes he ends up owing money, though he fights ever having to pay it.
Yes. Yeah.
This is the tactic, and he wants us to forget that he didn't have any evidence and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, don't forget. That whole deflecting pool incident was all about trying to get us to think about something else, and he didn't care what he said at the time.
Nope, not in the least.
Yeah, and it could cause as much harm as he wanted to. Yeah,
he was perfectly fine with that.
Well, here's a place where I wanted us to maybe like back off of that frustration and get back to some LGBTQ plus direct news. Sometimes when we're talking about this stuff in this country, it sounds really dire, and it is. I don't want to like in any way soften any of that. But comparatively speaking,
yes, comparatively speaking, I mean, in Senegal, 71, men were arrested for unnatural acts.
Yeah.
And so, it was like, oh, they were arrested for gay sex. That's much more than we get now because of several court cases that give LGBTQ people protection. We still have those protections in a lot of ways. I mean, they keep trying to find ways to attack them in court, but the court hasn't been very helpful in that. And
it doesn't seem to be playing out politically either here, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, Senegal, of course, we talked a little bit in the past about how a lot of West African countries are kind of upping their anti-LGBTQ stances, sometimes taking laws they already have, like in this case in Senegal, and just really starting to enforce them. And so just in a short period of time, 71 men for having sex were found guilty and charged with unnatural acts as a kind of assault on their legal rights. Meanwhile, in the U.S., we have great people like our representative from Tennessee, Representative Ogle, from your former state, right?
Yes, Andy Ogle.
He ran on policies like homosexuality has no place in America, right?
That's amusing.
He said this during Pride Month. He's also gone after Muslims and everybody else. Nobody has a place in America. Pluralism isn't real. All these kinds of things that he said.
If you're not white and rich, it doesn't matter. Go away.
He lost his primary.
Oh,
he's not the Republican candidate, even though he was endorsed by Trump. He's not the Republican candidate from Tennessee. I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah,
Tennessee.
Yeah, and honestly, what's interesting is the race for governor is now between two women. Whoever wins, it's a first for Tennessee.
Go Tennessee.
Marsha Blackburn, I really hope doesn't win because, God, she's terrible.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it. But, a lot of people just don't care.
Well, we'll see how those midterms go if we get to have them.
And I'm just like, this is exciting. It's, someone, a female running Tennessee. I'm not sure the state can handle it. It'll be lovely to watch some of the really extreme people break down mentally and cry because, they're the sensitive ones.
Yeah. In our country, there are states that are not so popular for LGBTQ people.
Yes, Tennessee being
Tennessee is definitely one of them. They sort of try to compete with Texas and Florida for who can be the meanest.
They're giving it their all.
Yeah, giving it their all. But even so, although I wouldn't put such a tactic beyond somebody like, I don't know, Pete Hegseth, we're not Indonesia.
No, we are not Indonesia.
Indonesia has classified LGBTQ plus communities as a non-military threat and have systemically promoted vigilante violence against LGBTQ people in the country.
Yeah. And Indonesia, beautiful country. Beautiful country. But they are also one of the more extreme Muslim countries in the world. Not as bad as, say, the Taliban, but not really far off. They have very, very strict laws about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And, it's this kind of thing, how it goes.
I mean, it's not all of these smaller, developing, less modernized nations, although, come on, they're modernized. Let's not.
Come on. Indonesia has a massive tourist trade.
Yeah, exactly. There are other places, like our great ally against, Islamic terrorism in, say, Iran, our great ally of Israel.
Yeah, sure.
Who always backs us in our choices about how we're going to negotiate with Iran. They've totally bought into the plan for Gaza, and no, they haven't. They've actually backed out and denied the great Peace Bureau's decision about
Peace Bureau or whatever Trump's monetary scam was.
Yeah. It's really awful. Here's what they've done. They have, and in the midst of everything else, just because, I don't know, they weren't popular enough, they have cut funding to all LGBTQ organizations in Israel that get any kind of state funding, have had their state funding cut, and for many of them, that could very well mean their bankruptcy. So
because extremist right-wing political groups hate everybody. So
now, by the equivocating logic that some people have used around the question of anti-Semitism, this means that all Jewish people are homophobic, right?
No. This is a choice by a hard right government affecting the people of Israel.
Right.
So again, I'm going to state it plain out. I'm not a fan of Netanyahu. I think this particular Israeli government is terrible, probably one of the worst for Israel in a very long time. They're making questionable choices.
Yes.
But the people of Israel are having to deal with the fact that most of the media is heavily right-wing, and it's been pushing the Overton window for a while, kind of like over here. And so, all these regular people are getting hosed by their government, and that's not good. And a reminder, Netanyahu and Trump are friends partially because both of them are felons.
Yeah. And about as popular with their electorate right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's something like, at least last I saw it was something like 70% of Israel did not support the Netanyahu government. I keep waiting, doesn't that mean we should be holding an election soon?
Hopefully.
We would think that was coming up there. But I don't think it's a good time to be in Indonesia, in Senegal or in Israel right now. Now, that said, I want to do some shout outs here because I think that they're worth sort of noting that it's not all downhill around the world. There's some good ones here. So I want to recognize that Bolivia just recognized its first same-sex marriage. 2 women got married.
That's
and that this
amazing.
State recognized, and they are moving more towards having same-sex marriage be recognized as part of their government, part of their institution. So go Bolivia.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Slovakia is debating. It's still debating, but they actually have some real force behind the idea of marriage equality and are pushing marriage equality in Slovakia.
Go Slovakia.
So I'm like, Ireland has always been sort of supportive, parts of Ireland anyway.
Well, parts of Ireland, yeah.
And they are much more involved with the European Union, and they have several organizations in Ireland that are really pushing the European Union to go even further than it already has, which is pretty good, in protecting pride and the idea of pride celebrations across Europe. And so they are pushing and advocating in Europe, and Europe seems to be the place that is taken over where the U.S. used to be in terms of advocating for the rights of its citizens and the freedom of diversity.
And that's awesome because, honestly, when this administration dies, because everybody dies, we're going to be, dealt with what we've got left because of this, and we're the laughing stock of the world. No one takes us seriously militarily anymore. Not after the amazing Iran war and all this stuff. And so we're going to have to rebuild our reputation in the world. And when you lose a reputation, getting it back takes a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah.
I would have added a few more varies, but time is limited.
So we've got some things to rework on the other side of this administration and on the other side of this debacle of international foreign wars, forever wars that we said we weren't going to have any more of, but apparently that was just a campaign promise and was never part of the plan.
Yes. It's been regime change and try to get them right, but the correct degree of right wing.
Yeah.
Not, far right in the wrong way.
Here's one of the things. All of this sort of mixed bag, international policies, our reputation internationally, different countries that seem to be going further and further to the right, especially in regards to LGBTQ rights. A few, especially in and around Europe and now Eastern Europe, that are looking towards a little bit more tolerance, acceptance, institutionalized. Let's accept LGBTQ people. LGBTQ people around the world still see this country, the United States, they still see us as a place to come, to be seen, to be heard, and to have rights. So we flipped a story in about Kiki Lopez, who is a Filipino trans woman who also is a drag performer and actually quite famous now, apparently, living in San Francisco, who immigrated to San Francisco about 4 years ago. And the story isn't really clear on their status right now, but they've gone through the whole legal process, so fingers crossed and fingers hopeful, because they are still standing up for, and obviously California we're talking about here, standing up for U.S. policy, U.S. rights, especially in the Bay Area, that are attractive to people who want to live their true and authentic lives and still see the United States as the place to come. And all of this, to me, all of the stories that we have, all of the new developments, all of the places where it seems really awful to be queer right now in the world, the fact that even under this administration, even under these awful policies that they keep trying to put forward, some of which we're going to dive into here in a second, we still have an international community that sees this country and still hopes for this country going forward to be a place that is accepting, affirming, empowering for LGBTQ folks. And I cling to hope about that. Thank you, Kiki.
I mean, I know trans people who still live in Florida or in Tennessee or Texas. And I'm like, that's kind of a big thing. The fact that, even though those three states are absolute nightmares in terms of rights, they still have more rights there than they would definitely in Senegal or various other countries. Yeah. And that it's keeping it in perspective, I think, is important. And because at a time like this, you might be like, oh, all of our rights are eroding. It's more accurate to say some of our rights are eroding. Some ways things were worded is changing and things like that, which is a slow descent, and it's still a descent, but it's still not as bad, especially if you're in a state that is not actively going after you.
Well, and even some of the ones where they're not doing so well. So what's going on in Kansas these days?
Oh, God. Yeah, that bathroom bill that the police were like, for the love of all that's holy, no. And the people were like, we don't care. Trans people can't drive, can't use the bathroom. And now cops are in the lovely position of having to deal with trans masks, who are almost always wearing this yellow T-shirt with the law on it, basically stating, you did this to me, are going to the bathroom. in the bathroom they're supposed to go to according to the law, and it's causing absolute chaos because, oh my God, this burly bearded man is coming into the women's room. What is going on? And they're like, it's the law. Well, it's the law. We're going to the bathroom we've been assigned, and so, hey, it's not our fault.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, slay, king.
Yeah. First of all, thank you. That is an amazing act, and that's an amazing impersonation too. That is an amazing act, and I can't imagine that it is comfortable and not awkward, and but at the same time, it makes the point that we've all tried to make all along, which is, you guys, you really don't see what's going to come from this. These are the two consequences, right? I think we stress them a lot all the time with these damn bathroom bills is, okay, first of all, you're not thinking about trans men going into the women's room how uncomfortable that's going to make you because trans men are men.
Yes. And
spend time with them.
And a lot of these athlete bills specifically say they don't apply to trans masks, which is interesting.
Which I suppose you can try to make a case for athletics that way, but I don't know how you make the justification for that when you're doing the bathroom distinction.
And it's just that they are fighting the law by following the law, but at the same time wearing something that points out the law. I mean, black lettering on a bright yellow T-shirt, and they're just standing there going, yeah, these conversations are awkward, but we're standing in front of the police saying this. The police, don't want to be here for this call. And, frankly, neither do we, but it's getting the police more and more like, we said this was going to be terrible. Please stop making us do this. And honestly, the businesses and stuff are reacting, well, I think in a lot of ways rather appropriately. They're freaking out, rushing men, women, women and children out of the female bathroom and are just like, what the hell is going on? Because, yes, if you see 3 burly trans men just trip on into the bathroom, people are going to lose their effing minds.
Yeah.
And that's fair and understandable because that picture is kind of what these laws are trying to prevent. Like, they already have laws that can cover this, but you don't want burly men in the women's room. Totally agree. Burly men shouldn't be in there.
Of course, the other one, right, is always that these bills then make you also questioning, is that really a woman?
Yeah.
That's a toxic question, y'all.
And it almost always goes with non-traditional cis women.
Yeah.
And that's the part that just gets me is trans women already know that the bathroom is fraught with peril. Mm-hmm. Very perilous. Don't go there. So they do what they can to work around it. Non-traditional presenting cis women haven't had that essentially boot camp of bias. And so they're all of a sudden getting assaulted for things, and they're just like, what the hell? Because that's not their experience of life. And it's also most of these women, some of them, yes, have been butch lesbians. That's understandable because, they kind of give that energy. But some of it is just cis-het women who happen to have a haircut that some people think makes them look too masculine, and it freaks them out. And it's just, you idiots voted for those people who thought this was a good idea. Go you.
Yeah. That's the thing that I think they should have absolute fear about heading into this fall. Which is these policies that they thought were scapegoaty, that were politically motivating them and everything, are creating realities that are really not sitting well with the American people, and I think are going to have significant impacts on elections, whether it keeps people at home because they're just not inspired by their party, or whether it motivates people to go out to vote against those parties that are making these really, really bad decisions. The other one right now that's kind of in this ballpark that just sort of shows the ludicrousness to me of the kind of policy concerns around trans identity and whatnot has to be the big kerfuffle playing out in the WNBA right now.
Yeah, I mean, the WNBA has no trans players.
None.
Let's be clear about no trans players. Do they have trans people in the sports staff? I don't know. Maybe. But maybe, yeah, that's true.
Does that violate the concerns about trans athletes?
No, because there are no trans athletes.
Yeah.
And a lot of these, you have some players going, oh, trans are terrible. And other people going, no, we support trans kids athletes. We support, trans people. What's wrong with you? And so you're seeing these weird, hardcore feminist debates by cis women and against cis women. And it's just, it's wild, honestly.
It's weird to me because Sophie Cunningham on July 21st during an interview sort of came out with this position against trans people being in the WNBA.
Which was which is not an issue.
It's not an issue. It's not happening. So first of all, let's understand we're just arguing on principle. We're not actually dealing with something that's really happening right now. There's not somebody that we're actually concerned about. It's just this principle issue. The one that gets me though is were NBA players, Inez Cantor Freedom and Royce White.
Yes.
They are essentially podcasting or that kind of stuff. They saw this. They are MAGA and MAGA supporters. RAR. And so male presenting, assigned male at birth, former members of the NBA who are threatening to sue the WNBA if they are prevented from being members of the WNBA because of their reading of WNBA policy around trans identity.
Okay, but I would simply be like, okay, do you have documented proof from various physicians that you have undergone these various procedures for at least 2 years? Mm-hmm. In which case they'd be like, no. It's like, wow.
And honestly, like, do you remember them? Do you know them?
No.
Can you name the teams they played for?
The Detroit Dribblers and the Dallas Dunkheads. It's sports ball.
Yeah, I don't know them. Admittedly, I'm not an expert here and not expected to know them, but honestly, it sure seems to me like somebody's trying to make themselves significant again by doing some drama.
Yeah.
Girls, since that's what you want to be called, girls, put it down. Go have a cocktail. Go to a bar. Be safe there.
Have a drink. Feel better about life.
Feel better about life because your little podcasty little stunt here isn't going to do anything for anybody, and it's just ludicrous. And that's the part that gets me. Like, so sure, Hugh Laurie can now decide that Hugh Laurie is not trying to get in the WNBA, but he is deciding that he wants to voice his support for Sophie Cunningham and question that. So apparently, he brings the legacy of Turf Island with him.
Even though he's now an American because he's been acting it for so long.
I don't know.
And people barely remember Fry and Laurie.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie were huge buds. Yeah. And now, not so sure.
Yeah.
And honestly, people move here. They get into Hollywood or music or something, and then all of a sudden they start becoming more and more right wing, and you're just like, what?
Yeah. I mean, again, probably arguing on principle.
Harumph.
And at the same time, not being very educated about principle and not paying attention to actually what's going on in the WNBA. Honestly, I have to say, if anything, maybe this is giving the WNBA more attention that the women athletes who actually play in the WNBA deserve.
Oh,
because let's remember, the assault on trans athletes is visible, as folks argue about it on principle. The fact that we don't actually celebrate, support, or systemically support to the same degree our women athletes in something like the WNBA probably should be more of our attention.
The WNBA has been having increasing viewership and everything for several years now. It's been growing, but it's growing slowly.
Yeah. I think there are other ways you can get our attention besides making up a problem that doesn't exist for the WNBA.
Yeah, I mean, there's trans problem. Okay, who's trans in the WNBA? Well, nobody. But it's like, then why is this an issue?
And here's the thing: we're having the conversation. I don't like it.
It's a dumb conversation.
It's a dumb conversation to be having, but we're having it. And we're having folks in Kansas push back by just kind of showing up with the lettering on their T-shirts.
Yeah.
We're having folks even in Texas and Florida and Tennessee push back. We're having Tennessee representatives who are proudly homophobic lose their primaries.
Oh, yes, that was glorious.
So
and
when we look across the world and when we talk to folks who want to come to America who are queer or trans, this is why. Things might not be so great here right now because of our current administration, but what's also present is the ways that we are pushing back and also calling BS on some of these ridiculous PR stunts that some folks are trying to make by still scapegoating trans folks.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, we got a couple of political stories in the back that we want to come in and check in on some figures that are drawing some attention, whether they're for us or against us. Some of them are against us, but only recently. But now they're really proudly against us. But that's for the back half of the show. You are listening to Isn't It Queer on WDBX FM 91.1, community radio serving the Southern Illinois region. We're going to take a quick minute to listen to one of our station's underwriters, and we'll be right back after this message.
Support for community radio on WDBX comes from the Carbondale Times newspaper, serving the community with news, sports, entertainment, and all things Carbondale since 1997. Pick up a copy of the Times each Friday for civic news, information on who's playing the Strip this weekend, an extensive list of upcoming community events, and all the latest on Carbondale Terrier and Saluki athletics. Best of all, it's free. And to keep up with the Times anytime, visit us online at carbondaletimes.com or look us up on Facebook. Want even more information? Give us a call at 549-2799. Thanks for reading, and remember, together we are Carbondale.
And we're back.
Yes, we are.
But, the Senate isn't.
Okay, that was very nice.
Thank you,
I like how you folded that in.
Yeah, our Senate is taking its month break here now for August. Yep.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's okay.
Now, before they left, at 4 in the morning, on a vote of 50 to 49, they approved Todd Blanche as our permanent Attorney General, no longer acting.
Well,
he's still acting.
Let's be clear. The word permanent, hopefully, is not reality. Yeah. He's the current.
He's the current. Permanent in relationship to the current administration.
And the fact that they felt like they had to do it at 4 in the morning should not make Blanche comfortable. We should put some spikes in his seat. The fact that it was that close also shows that should the elections not go for them, it's not going to be a pleasant place.
Yeah. Well, now we flipped a story in that actually suggests that the shenanigans in terms of supporting Blanche probably have enhanced the possibilities that the Senate will flip Democratic in the midterm elections.
Yeah.
It's so shady. It's so questionable. There was such pushback, and it happens at 4 in the morning. And even and what's happening now is like I don't understand this administration's understanding of strategy. I don't think they actually have one. He's approved, and then within days, what seems to be something that was already being drafted but has now been released is a Department of Justice policy that says that private citizens who are not employed by the government can have executive privilege of immunity for being interrogated or questioned or tried or anything like that if they're advising the president. Apparently, there are a couple of cases where folks want to ask questions of folks who've been providing some sketch information or resources to the presidency, and now they are protected and they can't be interviewed or have questions asked of them, according to Blanche's first act, really, as Attorney General.
And to be fair, again, not legal.
No,
because the Department of Justice does not pass laws. That's Congress. So they're just saying, we're going to be grumpy if you guys do this. And at this point, with the batting average of the Department of Justice, I'd take those odds.
I mean, there's always the possibility that our Attorney General might be debarred.
That's true.
He's made some mistakes and has been challenged a little bit for his bad lawyering.
Yeah, and how bad is that going to be? They're like, oh, you can't talk to anybody if they've looked at President Trump ever. Yeah, sure. Do you know how many people? Oh, I can't be convicted of robbing this store that you have me on camera for because I've seen the president. I have too.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, then you can't arrest yourself either.
And you can pay a certain amount of money to see the president and pay a certain amount of money to see his Truth Social posts before anybody else does. You can make some investments based on that's not corrupt at all.
I mean, the level of corruption.
Oh my God.
I mean, there are probably people who were in former banana republics going, wow, That's impressive.
I didn't know I could do that. I'm going to try that one. Thank you for the
suggestion.
Donald Trump. Yeah. Look, let's understand, first of all, like they took the time to approve of this attorney general when they did not approve of the Defense Department's budget request. So Pete Hegseth doesn't have the money he was desperately needing to continue his war in Iran.
Yes, because it's being fought by an idiot. So they're making choices such as, let's keep these aircraft carriers there for 9 months. Those boats can't be out for 9 months.
Yeah.
They can at max 6.
By the way, poor Pete Hegseth, the Senate wouldn't give him money,
It's very sad.
and the House wouldn't pass the law that would have made it permanent that trans people couldn't be in the military.
Oh, it's like there's almost no case that he can support.
It's so terrible. He didn't get anything. It's like people are really finally going, you're dumb.
God, I
Thank
mean,
God.
just watching stuff from when he was on Fox.
I know.
Like, I'm going to throw this axe and hit a drum player. And I'm just like, the level of stupid you are is, I just can't.
We keep hearing, although the Trump administration is upset about the leaks, we keep hearing rumors and stories of the cabinet just like breaking down with each other, and Trump having a blowdown with Pete Hegseth about the war because it's not going well, and it didn't go well, and it didn't go the way they said it would go, and he's really upset about it.
That's a really interesting turn of a phrase there, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, blowdown?
Blowdown, yeah.
Yeah.
Showdown, blowdown, I don't know.
Sure.
All of them.
We'll just go with
We'll
it.
go with that. Yeah, it's not weird at all. By the way, here's a factoid that I was not aware of because I wasn't paying attention, because I don't really care about this Todd Blanche person. I would like never to have known about him. Like he really sort of on my radar surfaced in 2024 as Trump's lawyer in the New York case, particularly the one that he lost and resulted in Trump being found guilty.
On 36 counts?
Yes.
No, or is it 37?
34, I thought. Whatever.
It's 30-something.
Yeah, felony indictments for his bad business deals in New York and so forth. Blanche had a really good success rate there with that, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Here's the thing that I didn't know is before he defended Trump, he was a Democrat.
Wow.
He switched from Democrat to Republican in 2024.
It's almost like he doesn't have any political ideology.
Yeah.
Just, I follow where the money tells me to go.
For those of you out there who don't believe that there's a difference in the two parties, just run with that, enjoy it, and have a nice dessert, and enjoy the apple pie of Todd Blanche.
And to a degree, there is some truth to the parties are very similar.
Yeah. It depends on which part of the parties you're looking at.
Yes, because some parts of the Democrats are not helpful at all.
Yeah.
Like Manchin and
Now-
a couple other people.
Now, when he converted, though, like especially around LGBTQ concerns, he just had to prove it. He just had to go really far. So one of the first things he did as part of the Department of Justice, not yet the acting Attorney General, was to challenge, especially in New York, trans rights, especially gender affirming care for trans youth. He literally wrote a letter to Letitia Jones. Saying you can't spoil our children this way, like totally making stuff up about what trans rights are, but aggressive about that. He's also been very clear about supporting and legally following through on Trump policies around LGBTQ history being taught in schools, especially on the other side of the Supreme Court decision that didn't say that you couldn't teach LGBTQ history in schools. The Supreme Court just said if parents want to withdraw their students from such lessons, they should have the right to do so. So he very much tried to push that even further there. He has been very clear in the Department of Justice that jails shall no longer be held accountable. Prisons and jails shall no longer be held accountable for violation of LGBTQ people's rights through harassment and homophobic assaults. So that's you're in jail. You just have to deal with it. And if you get raped or assaulted, enjoy it. Bad on you. That's prison, and just deal with it. He did also try to force the D.C. Children's National Hospital to turn over records on what they had done to all children everywhere.
And they just said that's nice.
Yeah, and of course, along all of this, of course, however you want to connect it to LGBTQ concerns, is he has been very active in making sure that Epstein files are not released, and that we try to move on from that, and we're not going to talk about that ever again.
Except honestly, the Epstein files is that recurrent herpes virus of the administration. Except it recurs quite a lot.
It's not going anywhere. That one's I think that's another one that's not gonna sit well going forward. And so let's understand that the Senate was already divisive. The main thing that was sort of holding up a couple of senators was the DOJ's policy of trying to make this the slush fund for the Jan 6 terrorists, assaulters of the Congress, whatever we want to call them. Rioters. Let's call them rioters.
Sure. That's a good word.
I mean, they're not terrorists. They're rioters. No, they're terrorists. But they cause terror. So yeah, there. He didn't want that. So they had to get in writing that was gone, even though the court had already decided. But the other thing that they wanted to make sure of was that there were limits on the immunity. Not that the immunity goes away for the president in regards to audits and investigations of income taxes and so forth, but that it was just him and his immediate family that were protected by that immunity, and not other people, not somebody who come as a private citizen.
And honestly, looking at it, you can almost go, wait, did you word it in such a way that they're only immune so long as Donald is in office?
Maybe.
Interesting. So, fine. Okay, so the IRS is not going to go after them. They have immunity from that while he's in office. Sure, okay. That's adorable. But, institutions have long memories.
Yeah. I don't know where that's going to go. I think that it's not sitting really well, and then to have the follow-up be that almost immediately the Department of Justice is proving again that it is not the people's attorney, it is the president's lawyer.
Yes.
And kind of leaning into that now with
and the
protection.
fact that it's actually. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to sit well. I think it was probably, of all the things that they could have not made a decision on before going on break, this was probably one of the ones that they needed to not make a decision on.
And yet they did.
And yet they did. And it's going to cost them.
It's great that they said, we just can't figure a way to work the SAVE Act and some of these other really, really important things. But yeah, sure, we'll give you Todd.
Yeah. The rationale that some of them have is that if we don't give him Todd, he's going to come back with somebody worse.
Honestly, at this point, I'm not sure where.
If that's possible, and maybe it is, what does the Senate have the power to do? Not confirm somebody worse.
Yeah.
Listen, you little weasels. And we don't have an attorney general? That's bad. If we only have an acting attorney general, that's not good. Maybe that's an encouragement for our administration to actually propose somebody who's qualified.
Maybe just through qualified immunity.
Whatever.
I have qualified immunity, so I can do this.
All right. So one other public figure that's now suddenly a public figure that we want to acknowledge their records. Again, we don't. Their records are relatively recent in terms of LGBTQ advocacy and whatnot. They weren't necessarily on our radar screen until very recently. But now, oh my God, you'd think that the country has gone full communist because they got elected as the Democratic candidate for Senate in Michigan.
You mean El Said?
I mean El Said. El Said won against Haley Stevens, despite the $61 million that was thrown into her campaign and the mainstream Democrats trying to support.
And honestly, the fact that it was a bit more narrow than people expected,
pretty close.
Which I'm like, no, that's actually okay, because, El Said is like, okay, so we got to work a little bit more with these people. But that's okay. I mean, another progressive democratic socialist who's like, I want everybody to be able to have things like healthcare, food, good roads, good internet.
Now, as a Muslim and a proud Muslim with kids and family and educated and everything else, you might suspect maybe Islam is not a friend of Dorothy for LGBTQ folks. But as it turns out, he has actually a pretty good opinion on that.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not gay, I'm not trans. You're right. I don't have that personal experience, but I do have a lot of experience with discrimination in this country, and I know how toxic that is. And I think it's okay to be who you are in this country, queer or trans. And so absolutely I support the rights of LGBTQ people. And can I just say, as a position statement, that's
really strong.
That's really strong. And I just want to sometimes we get sort of caught up in the discrimination Olympics about which one is worse and all that kind of stuff. That is not what he is playing here. He is acknowledging that discrimination in general is bad. he certainly has experience with that, and he certainly is having that experience on the other side of this victory, both within his party and outside of it. But to turn that around, and so his position on gender-affirming care, it's up to the people and their doctors. Have access to it.
It's why is this issue our issue?
Yeah.
It's their specific issues. Again, it's a you thing.
Yeah, it's a you thing. Absolutely. It's like they should have that. Should they have, should we be able to teach history of LGBTQ? Yes.
Yeah, because it's history.
Yeah. Why do we ban books? That doesn't make sense. What are you afraid of? He stands up for these things. It's because I'm sure that he has experienced in his own life various kinds of books that he would like that were being banned.
Well,
or otherwise limited access
some
to.
people have constantly tried to ban the Quran, and it's actually it's a really good book.
I will say that it did not it did not stop people from offering ridiculous, problematic criticisms. Probably one of the worst is Trump himself. Surprise.
Said we're going to have to look into his immigration status. He was born in Dearborn, Michigan, which is the largest Arabic population outside of the Middle East. So okay, you want to? He was born here. Yes, he was.
It's not that kind of birthright citizen that they're trying to argue against here. No. He's full on American. Been here the whole time.
His parents were American. They were in Dearborn. Yeah. He was born in Dearborn.
It's almost like, oh no, he shines the light on America is actually diverse.
No.
Yeah, sorry, Donald. Yeah, we're actually pretty diverse here, and so Trump showed a picture of him and Melania at a dinner table.
Okay.
And El Sayed and his wife in a hijab and their 2 kids at a booth at a restaurant, and put a sign above it saying, "Very different Americas." To which El Sayed responded with quite a lovely takedown of, yeah, those guys, they don't apparently love each other and have only been married a brief amount of time, and it's his 3rd or 4th marriage. I can't remember.
Yeah, he cheated on everyone.
Yeah, and they're all about making money themselves off of the offices that they have, and not about making a future for their kids here in America or for other people in America. I've been with my wife since we were 22. We've got 2 daughters. We would like to see them have the America that we've had and have a good America for them to grow up in. We want to help people. We want to bring down the cost of living right now because it's ridiculously high. We want folks to have access to health care. You're right. These are 2 different Americas. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Donald Trump. We actually care about the people, and you care about your own profits. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good honestly, there's so much FAFO going on lately that it's just like Pete Hegseth strutting around like he's the king of the world. Can't get his money for his boom boom toys. Trump saying, "Oh, this is a different America," and El Sayed going, "Yeah, you're correct.
Yours is toxic. Mine is not."
Or Democrats fighting Democrats vehemently because it's like, we got this approach, you have this approach. Which way do we really want things to go? And because of our democracy, everybody listening to this, all citizens have a say in which version of America you want. Yeah. And a lot of people, not big fans of this current administration and what it's making America. It's certainly not great.
Well, I mean, they have a Superman.
Well, sure, they can have a Superman. There's a bunch of
Dean Cain, like the best Superman ever. Not at all. No, not at all. I'm sorry. I couldn't even get through that sentence.
You had Henry Cavill.
I know, right.
And a bunch of other people. Yeah. The current Superman is really good.
Yeah. Dean Cain, though, of course, who is, Ro-MAGA and, I think an honorary ICE member and whatever else he has now, whatever he can do to try and keep himself relevant on the other side of a career that sort of died, opined on social media, asked the question, does anybody actually have a picture of El Sayed as the captain of his high school football team? I mean, doubting that claim.
The yearbook probably does.
The Google, you could find it really fast. Lots of people did, and we're like, dude, this exists. Does anybody have a picture of you and working recently? Does anybody?
Oh, and speaking of Google, good news out of the EU.
Yeah.
If Google is responsible for any flaws in whatever its AI says as a summary. So if the AI summary gives you bad information, they can be sued. Yeah. I'm like, Nice.
Be accountable. Oh, wow. Well, I do want to say that folks that Googled and found the images, they are confirmed. It's not just Google making a mistake. That information about El Sayed is true, and so we can't sue Google on that one. There's plenty of other things you can sue Google on now, if you're in Europe, apparently. But it's those folks who want to stand out, and it's how immediately, and again, FAFO, they try to like posture, and then they're immediately. Dean was like literally shut out of his. He had to ghost his conversation because he got so red so hard, and looked so dumb. And this is where we are right now. I know that there are parts of the Democratic Party that are anxious about the number of very progressive, quote-unquote, democratic socialists that seem to be winning and seem to be, oh, no, they're going to damage our possibilities in the midterms. And I'm like, no, they're really not. Pay attention.
No, it's like listen to the people and then work to help magnify that. Yeah. But the current Democrats are, I'm not sure who they're listening to, but sometimes it's like, you really want to work against yourself that much? Okay. I mean, that's a life choice, but.
Yeah, it's, I think, honestly, like, in some cases, if the Democrats would just sort of lean into, whether they're centrist or whether they're further to the left, just kind of proposing the policies and being there for the people, and then just let the Republicans talk for themselves, they'll do fine, because the Republicans are on self-destruct mode. Lauren Boebert accuses LGBTQ people of being groomers. Her son is now arrested for taking videos and sharing videos of young
minors,
yes, and minor girl, and so forth. And actually, it's tied to other crimes that he committed a little while ago that this brought to light. So you go, Lauren Boebert. Ken Paxton is doing so poorly in Texas that he is begging Fox News and Fox News listeners to donate to my campaign, or else this guy is going to win, and it's terrifying. And so much that he had one of his supporters create an AI video of the Daisy Girl, kind of going back to Lyndon B. Johnson. Yeah. But this time, instead of a nuclear weapon destroying that little girl's flower field, it's Tallarico in an operating room with a little girl on a table getting ready to do a trans operation. And that's just right? Like, it's like, oh my God, you guys are going to really try to run with that, and it's not working. You've tried to run this on him already, and it's not working, you guys.
Yeah, that's that. And the thing is, the AI slop is not helping the Republicans. It's actually making people more against AI, and it's just, guys, you're literally choosing to set yourself on fire. Yeah. And I mean, granted, there's some Democrats, who are going, waffling back and forth, going, yeah, but fire keeps you warm. But fire bad.
Yeah. One could only, honestly, I just really think if we've left them to their own, they will destroy themselves. Meanwhile, what do you do if you're on the left? You continue to do the work that folks on the left are doing, like Mondami in New York, which is make things better. Demonstrate materially how you do that.
He's been literally finding garbage piles that have been in places for, in some cases, decades, and getting rid of them. And people are like, we don't know how to do this because New York is clean and hasn't had has had a huge drop in violent crime and all this stuff, and we don't know what to do. And Mom Donnie's like, enjoy.
It's the combination of, and again, I feel like, to me, maybe I'm myopic on this just a little bit, but I think it's the trans candidates that have taught me this, which is fight for the infrastructure, fight for the things that are going to actually help people. And then, yes, also be pro-identity, pro who you are. Like, let people be who they are. Don't scapegoat other folks for those reasons. It's about, let's make things better where we live, and let's stop imagining that if we persecute these people, suddenly our lives will be better. You've been persecuting Iranis. You've been persecuting trans people and gay people. You've been persecuting immigrants and so forth. None of it has made your life better. It costs more. Inflation is on the rise. Costs and affordability are hard. We're losing our relationship internationally. It is ugly. None of that stuff has helped our lives be better.
Oh yeah, and so that's the lesson Democrats should take, is talk about the things that actually matter to people, which is, hey, this is how we can fix your grocery problem. This is how we can fix your water problem, your power problem. Let's not subsidize these data centers. so that you are footing the bill for them. Let's make them pay full amount. Honestly, everyone should be like, look, let's make America work again. Yeah. We have a crumbling infrastructure. Yeah. For a long time, we've had bridges that are, let's go with questionable. And we got prisons where we're essentially outsourcing prisoners to labor camps, which that's really nice. And it's like we're doing all these things that are really stupid. Well, what if we didn't? That could be amazing for the country.
Dare we hope? I hope, and I also take a certain amount of strength and confidence from the idea that we can, and we are, and we aren't actually going as far down this path as maybe some other places are in the world right now. And we continue to represent that we have ways of pushing back, and ways not just of pushing back like we ain't going there, ways of pushing back going, actually it would be better if we did this. Stop relying on scapegoating and discrimination. Start relying on actually helping people where they are, where they live. Actually start asking why it is that private entities, especially billionaires, get to make so much money while the rest of us are suffering. Those are fair questions. Does that mean we're absolutely anti-private industry or anti-billionaires? No, not really.
No, most every democratic socialist is pro-business but not pro-billionaires.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, I guess if you can afford to pay the president's fee to get his early notices on Truth Social about what he's going to say to try and change the stock market, then
yay.
Good for you. You can afford that. But I'm betting that most of the people who listen to this show can't.
Yeah.
And we can do better.
Absolutely. And so please, vote local, vote state, vote national, everywhere you can vote.
Actually, we did flip into our Flipboard, and I'll maybe put the link in the show notes here if you want, that LGBTQ Nation is actually asking us, that their readers, and we'll ask you as people who listen to the show, and you can go to LGBTQ Nation and put in, how will this election affect you? Like, how can you imagine this upcoming midterm election actually having an impact on you, your life, and maybe making it better? How would that be? What would it look like? What would they be involved with that? So yeah, vote, but also as you think about, as we go into the fall, how can this maybe make your life better, make our lives better, and to not give up on that possibility?
Honestly, let's go with the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I think that's ideal.
Don't dream it, be it.
And on that note, you've been listening to Isn't It Queer on WDBX 91.1, community radio serving the Southern Illinois region. This has been Johnny.
And Heather.
Think Again Please is coming up next, and we'll see you again next week on the radio.